What's up, guys, and welcome to another video. My name is Jeff with Passive Income Unlocked, and this is the January 2022 income report. If you want to follow along, head on over to PassiveIncomeUnlocked.com. I'm looking at the written version in front of me right now. I will also put a link in the description below. So if you want the short version, we made $26,333 in January in revenue. Our expenses were around $10,000 again, leaving us with a net profit of around $16,000. So if you watched our income report last month, you know that we made over $49,000, which is our highest month ever. Going from over $49,000 down to $26,000 is a pretty big drop. However, it's about what we were expecting to see. So if we were to go back and look at what we made in December of 2020 to January of 2021, we saw a very similar drop going from $35,000 down to $17,000. So there's a few reasons for that. A big one, of course, the RPMs are much lower in January for most people, and we're no exception there. Aside from that, our biggest traffic site peaks in December, then it starts to drop off in January, and we definitely saw that, losing about 150,000 page views there. And I'll show you the analytics for that in a minute here. And then on top of that, our other three sites that are monetized are all at their seasonal low during the winter. So when you combine all those factors, that's kind of what we expect to see, that 50% drop. We're going to see something similar in February, not another 50% drop, but basically about the same amount of revenue in February, maybe a little bit higher. And then in March and April, we should start to see the site take off, both in traffic and revenue. All right, so before I jump into the details, real quick here, just a reminder, nothing you see here, revenue or expenses or traffic or anything like that, relates to PassiveIncomeUnlocked.com or the YouTube channel. All right, so changes and updates in January. We stayed really focused in January. Didn't really go off on any tangents or anything like we have in the past. Just a couple things that we really focused on. The big one was adding internal links across our sites. So adding internal links has a ton of benefits. I've gone into that in previous videos, so I'm not going to touch on it here. But it's something that we really have neglected on our older sites. It's not unusual for us, and it's actually the norm for us to start a new site, publish 200 or 300 posts before we add any internal links. That's just what we always do. We just always put it off, and even then we don't really go back and add a whole lot of internal links. So what we're doing is we're taking two passes on our sites. Pass number one is hit every single orphan post, try to add one internal link going in and one internal link going out. There's going to be some instances where it doesn't make sense and we're not going to add those links, but if it makes sense, that's what we're going to do. So with pass number one, we're currently at 30% of our posts, and we have over 3,000 posts. And then pass number two is going to go back through all of our posts again and add additional internal links wherever it makes sense to do so. So some might have only one internal link, some might have 10 or more, who knows. That's basically what we're focusing on. That's going to be a big part of our focus for 2022, just to keep chipping away at that. Aside from that, our focus for January was really just work on sites number 5 and 6. 5, I'm actually going to pull up analytics for in a second here, show you the traffic and the growth on that one. 6 is our case study site. And I'll show you several screenshots for that one, but that's in a case study, so just keep an eye out for that. The video will be coming out next week. All right, so before I jump into the analytics numbers that I was just talking about, bring up a quick screenshot here. This is the age of all of our sites along with the number of posts. So our oldest site here is 3 months old and has about 150 posts, whereas our oldest site is 4.5 years, or getting close to 4.5 years old and close to 700 posts. So in January, we published another 180 posts, which is a lot for us. And a good chunk of that was for the two new sites, so site 5 and 6. And we did clear the 3,000 post mark, which is definitely a milestone for us. All right, so let's jump into the traffic that I just talked about. So I'm going to bring up a couple of shots from analytics here for you. So the first one, this is site number 1. This is our oldest site, also our highest traffic site. Peaks in December, like I said. So as you can see, the traffic starts growing in the fourth quarter, peaks in December, then drops off. The growth there might look kind of gradual. It's actually pretty drastic numbers. So the low point on that graph is less than 500,000, whereas that peak is over 650,000. So pretty big difference there, and that accounts for some of the drop that we see in traffic and revenue going from December to January. All right, so the next screenshot here, this is site number 5, and this is actually the lifetime of this site. So as you can see, it took a while for this site to gain traction, but the last 2 months it has really taken off. So like I said, we have really prioritized internal links across our sites, but especially on this one. We took this one from basically 0 articles with internal links to over 70% that have at least one internal link going in and out. So that's what we've done over the last couple of months. We've We've also been publishing a lot of content on the site, of course, and the site's age is getting up there. So I think those three factors are the reason that we're seeing that growth. We were over 45,000 page views in January. We need to get to 50,000 sessions to apply for Mediavine. So we're thinking we're probably maybe a month or so away. So we're pretty excited about that. All right, so I'll bring up another screenshot for you here. This is the page views for 2022. You're only going to see one bar at this point in time because we're only 1 month in. So we did clear 1 million page views again, but that was a big drop from where we were in December. Not a huge drop, but it was definitely a drop. However, looking year over year, which is really how you should look at things anyways, we have seen a 30% growth from 2021 to 2022 in traffic. So that's huge. So next, I'm going to bring up a screenshot, and this is our revenue. Same thing, you're just going to see one bar. Again, we dropped from about 49,000 down to 26,000 in revenue. However, when we look at it year over year, we grew by 50%. So revenue grew by 50%, traffic grew by 30%. So you might be wondering why the revenue grew more quickly. I think there's a couple factors at play there. So one, RPMs have been gradually rising across the board for everybody year over year. So that's probably part of it. I think another big part of it for us was the fact that we really made it a point to optimize our articles for display ads. So we took all the tips that we could find out there, and a lot of these came directly from Mediavine. So there's articles out there from Mediavine, things like increasing your font size, increasing your line height, shortening your sidebar, spacing out your paragraphs to make them short, and so on. So we did all these things last year throughout the year, and every time we did these little things, we saw an increase in our RPM. So I think that's a big part of it. And that's why our revenue jumped by more than our traffic. As far as RPMs in January, our lowest site was at about $23 across the month on average, whereas our other three sites were around $27. So for the lowest month in the year, or what should be the lowest month of the year for RPMs, 23 to 27 is really good in my opinion. Okay, so next I'm going to bring up a screenshot of Mediavine. So this is our display ad network that we use. You'll see our 4 sites there. Hopefully we'll see site number 5 on there pretty soon here, maybe within a couple months. But for now, you just see our 4 oldest sites there. My Backyard Life is our public site that we revealed a while ago. As you can see there, site number 1 still brought in the majority of the revenue in December. However, as we kind of go into towards spring and summer here, you're going to see that change where that one goes down a little bit and the other 3 go up. Probably by the time we get to summer, it's going to be really balanced across those 4 sites. I think at one point last year, there were like 2 or 3 months in a row where all 4 were right around that $10,000 mark. So aside from display ads, I'll bring up a screenshot here from Amazon Associates. So we made $1,162. This is from our U.S. account. We also did make about $100 or $112 from the UK and Canada as well. So aside from that, we did make about $100 from a couple of other sources. If you want to see the details on that, you can just look at the written version. I will mention that we did launch a digital product this month. It's not a new product. It's something that we've had for a couple years now. We've never been good about promoting this particular product, even though we do think it's a good product. We're going to try a couple different things this year to see if we can get it in front of more eyeballs, so we'll see what happens. But you might start to see that on the income report. It's not going to be high dollar by any means, but every little bit helps. So next, let's jump into expenses. So in January, we spent about the same as the previous few months, so $9,954. Most of that was for content, and it's broken down to the penny over on the written version if you want to check that out. But basically, we spent, I don't know, probably about $9,000 or over $9,000 of that on content out of that $10,000 roughly. And you will see a vendor on there, or writing service, I should say, on there that hasn't been on there the past few months, and that is Content Pit. And the reason I want to point that out is because they're actually our favorite writing service, but we haven't ordered from them, I think, since probably September. I think we ordered like 100,000 words from them back in September. Content's been excellent. The formatting, the quality, they add external links, just everything's really, really good from them. However, their turnaround time just takes forever. So I've been emailing back and forth with their owner, who's a really nice guy. He said they are working on hiring more people, so it's probably going to be a slow ramp up, but they're hoping to be able to improve their turnaround time over time. If you guys haven't checked them out, definitely do so. I do have a 10% code. It's over on the website, on the income report if you want to check it out. But anyways, we've been super happy with them. So it's the reason that we haven't been ordering with them is simply because we can't get the stuff back in time. So, all right. So net profit, we made $26,333 in revenue. Expenses were $9,954, leaving us with a net profit of $16,378. Last thing I'm going to touch on here, future plans and goals. So I'll try to keep this real quick here. Basically, what we decided for 2022 is we want to grow large authority sites instead of focusing on a bunch of smaller sites. So in the past, we've talked about maybe we should add another site or another 2 sites or another 5 sites, just try to keep tacking on each year. This year, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't add any new sites. We have 4 sites already that are pretty strong, that are getting pretty large. We have a 5th one that we pumped a ton of content into that has a lot of room for growth. And site number 6, again, we've started to really pump content into that one, and it also has a ton of room for growth. So instead of tacking on new sites and really spreading ourselves too thin, I think we're just going to really try to focus on the ones that we have and try to find ways to improve those sites. When I say improve those sites, I'm talking things like adding a lot of internal links, like I already mentioned, going in and finding content gaps, so things that we haven't covered yet on the site, and try to add more content there to strengthen the topical authority. Maybe go into analytics, figure out what types of articles are working better than others, maybe publish more of those, things like that. Really just strengthen our sites to try to really grow authority sites instead of just really spreading ourselves too thin and growing a bunch of small sites that, probably don't have the same long-term value as the ones that we're growing currently. So guys, that's about it. $26,000 in January, big drop off, like I said. However, if $26,000 is the low point for us in 2022, we're going to be extremely happy. So guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always, and I'll see you in the next one.